sought out well-dressed fat women to sort of counter blogs like the sartorialist and very like thin-based fashion. And that led me into working with About Face, which brought me here today.
I'm really interested in women's issues, and I'm also a media junkie, and I'm really creative. So I sort of bring all of that together in my work to design advocacy campaigns that are multifaceted, and they have elements that are visual and elements that are social media and digital and virtual. And that way it's sort of an all-encompassing movement instead of a singular piece.
I don't fit one mold, I am not in one box, and I don't think anyone else should be in one box. So I'm here to fight those boxes and break down those stereotypes that we face every day in the media.
Just for clarity, feminism is equal rights amongst the sexes. Like, feminism gets demonized in such a way where if you identify or self-identify as a feminist, or even society identifies you as a feminist, it's problematic. You're demonized, you're stigmatized, and everyone kind of writes you off for just having thoughts. And so for me, it's been very difficult to kind of rewire or unlearn, if you will, what people tend to think about feminism.
If feminism were an ocean, I would swim in it. I would jump into it. I would be all up in it. And then maybe I would go out for cocktails afterwards. My long-term plan.
I'm Allie Jean Reynolds, I'm 17 years old, and I currently live in Vassalboro, Maine, and I go to Erskine Academy in South China, Maine. I grew up in New Hampshire, but I moved around a lot when I was little, so it was really hard to identify myself as a person living somewhere, and I finally have come to that realization. So that really makes me powerful being here as well. So I guess that moving around really has changed about who I am today and how that affects who I think of myself as well.
My name is Sanaya Barnwell. I'm a senior at Colby College. I'm originally from the Bronx, New York. I used to have a very interactive relationship with media. I am a musician, and I used to be very interested in modeling, and I did the beauty pageant scene and the whole bit. And I struggled a little bit with my identity because images were very, they were reflecting on who I wanted to be, and it was strange because how can one picture tell you who you want to be?
My name is Carmen Rios. I'm 20. I grew up in New Jersey with my mom and my brother. I was raised by a single parent from the age of 4, and I feel like that had a really strong impact on my view of the world just because I lived in a family full of women and yet very few men, and so I saw a lot of women exerting power in maybe areas of life that most people don't see, and sort of very independent women, and I feel like it sort of is what maybe first infused me with this belief that femininity could be powerful.
My name is Shade Powell. I'm 17 years old. I go to the Beacon School in New York City. My family has always been weird. Like growing up, it's just like my mother, she was on drugs, and then she bounced back and was able to get all her 5 kids back together. And then we've lived in homes, we've lived in the shelter, we've lived in the project, and being in each borough, I got to see a new side of my mother that has really helped shape like who I want to be when I grow up, what I want to do, and just like what aspects about her that I'm gonna translate into my life when I get older and when I face certain adversities. Well, I work with Hardy Girls, Healthy Women, and they're one of the 6 sponsors that are working at the Spark Summit. It's a great movement to start pushing back sexualization of women in the media, something that I'm very passionate about, and it's also just a chance to be able to get my own message out there as well and see what other girls are going to be there and be like, hey, you know what, I totally support you in this. So
I got involved with Spark. I'm a senior in college, and so I was looking for a course that I can interact with girls like myself and younger women. And so I got involved with Healthy Girls, Hardy Women. I'm a muse to younger girls in the 7th grade. And then I got involved with Powered by Girls and Powered by a Girl, and that is kind of like a spin-off site. And so after Powered by a Girl, I heard about Spark, and I really wanted to get involved because it seems as if all of the movements about young women were started by men. And I thought that that was extremely problematic. If we are going to have girl power, it shouldn't be under the guise of masculinity. It should be run by girls.
What brought me to social activism was definitely just an awareness always of gender and sort of, I guess, maybe the girl power thing in the 90s, something about that. But just sort of when I came to college and I started really looking at issues of sort of gender, sexuality, sex, all of these different things and sort of social construction and all of these theories, I realized that violence against women was an area that I was really passionate about, and I sort of have started to specialize in it. And since then, I've done a lot of work with groups like The Line and Holla Back, which is a movement to end street harassment. And it is what I want to do with my life, and I think it's been one of the greatest gifts is realizing that I could do something with it like that. And I think what brings me to it is the knowledge that I, as one individual person in the world, have the ability to impact the lives of millions or maybe billions of people.
The reason why I'm so involved in social activism is because I grew up around my mother, who was always into her social work, so she was very active in the community. Also, me living in all these different neighborhoods of New York City, it kind of exposed me to all the different injustices and the prejudices and all the bad stuff that we tend to do to each other. And so coming in high school and really when I started developing my own sense of self and my own independence and confidence, I realized that I want to do stuff that's about empowering myself, empowering women, empowering black people, empowering people of low income. Anything that can get people that are underrepresented involved into making change for themselves. I think that we can fight back by doing the most radical thing out there. The best thing to do is just stir things up a bit.
Research. Even if you have some sort of like little bird in your head saying, you know what, oh, that might be interesting, go ahead and take that step to research.
Go ahead and take that step. Being brave can foster other people to be brave. If not you, then who? If not now, then when?